Hey girlies, I just wanted to explain quickly why I'm reposting this video. On my Clean Girl Bronzy Makeup tutorial video, the audio cuts out for the whole video. I've literally just been monetized on YouTube and I had used a copyrighted audio, which I thought was copyright free and it's not. And I used it on the background of the whole video, so it has just muted the entire video, which is why the audio is not on the video anymore. So I managed to find the original video and I thought I'd just re-upload it because I had a few comments of new people coming to watch it and being like, why is the audio not working? So just wanted to quickly explain that, and I will still be doing my usual Sunday upload tomorrow. So stay tuned and enjoy the video. Good morning guys. A few of you have asked for a more in-depth tutorial on how I do my everyday makeup, so I thought I would take you along. So this is going to be everything I do, skin prep to makeup, to get an everyday natural makeup look. So let's get into it. So starting off on clear skin, I have just washed my face with some micellar water. We're starting with skin prep and just skincare. I have been religiously using the Rhode Glazing Milk and Barrier Butter. I did originally get gifted the mini versions of these and I love them so much that as soon as they ran out, I ordered the big sizes. So I just go in with the glazing milk. I rub it in my hands and apply it to my face. This just gives you such a immediate glow. I also rub that on my neck. Please ignore I have a few patchy tan areas, but I could not be bothered to scrub it all off this morning, so I'm just gonna ignore it. I normally just give that like 30 seconds or a minute to sit on my face so it's not still wet when I apply this. Then I go in with my Rhode Barrier Butter. This stuff is amazing. Love this stuff so much. And I just rub that all in. I feel like I never really had a specific skincare prep or routine before using these products. And ever since using them, my skin has just been so glowy, hydrated, and my makeup lasts so well on it. My makeup just glows through the skincare. Then I like to go in with a primer because we want our makeup to stay all day. So I've been using the Milk, why is it not focusing? The Milk Makeup Grip Primer. As you can see, I've used a lot of this. This stuff is so good. And make sure that is everywhere on my face. My skin has also been breaking out a bit recently, particularly on the lower half of my face, which I believe is hormonal, if I'm correct. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I think that's what it is. It just goes through phases. Going in with my OG, the Hollywood Flawless Filter. I've been using this for years. Cannot tell you how many times I've repurchased this product. I love putting this under foundation if I want a bit more coverage, or just using it on its own. I have been using it on its own recently just for a daily kind of natural makeup. I just use it on its own. But if I'm going out or I just want a bit more of a full coverage look, then I will put a foundation on top of this. And if I were to do that, I would use the Kylie Cosmetics Skin Tint, which isn't a foundation. Oh, the sun is coming out and I love it. It's technically a skin tint, but it's a lot thicker than the Flawless Filter, so I kind of feel like it's a foundation to me. Or I will use the MAC Studio Radiance Serum Powered Foundation. This is also a great one. But for today, I'm just going to put on the Flawless Filter. And I'm blending this in with the Big Brush by Saie Beauty. And I always like to just go over with a beauty blender to make sure there's no streaks. Next, I like to do bronzer, and I've recently been using the Rimmel London Multitasker. It's this 3-in-1 creamy bronzing stick. A stick is my favourite way to apply bronzer. I always put some on my cheekbones, on my forehead. I do quite a lot of bronzer just because I love a bronzy sculpted look. I also do some on my eyelid, just going up to get that lift, and also on my nose. I do some below my lip just to create a little shadow, makes your lips look bigger. If you didn't know, game changer. And I like to do a tiny bit under my chin, just so she looks a little bit more snatched. This is the Brushworks, I think it's just the bronzer brush. I've had this for quite a while. I always try not to brush it in because that is gonna take most of the product away and make it streaky, so I like to just dab it in with the brush. I think this one is my favourite beauty product, the Hourglass Concealer. I think if I could only have one makeup product in my routine, it would be this one. I've tried a lot of concealers and this one is just worth every penny. So that's where I place it, and I also blend it in with the Hourglass Concealer brush. This is also amazing. And again, I just dab that in. This one is quite full coverage, but it doesn't feel or look too full coverage, if you know what I mean. But it will make your skin look amazing. I've actually kept my last two ones that are not They're almost done, but I've just kept them because I'm like, there's a tiny bit left in there. I don't know why, because I don't even touch them. I've just got them in my makeup basket. But I've repurchased this one so many times, so you know it's good. Just made the best matcher as well. I like to press the concealer from my under eye just into the bridge, this bit of my nose, just to shape it a bit more and make sure the bronzer stick I put there earlier is shaping her this way. So I just like to press it in there. And I like to drag the concealer from my forehead just down across the bridge of my nose. And again, I go over with Beauty Blender just to make sure it's all blended out. For blush, you already know I'm a Rhode gal, so it is the Rhode Pocket Blush. And this one is in the shade Toasted Teddy. Although I would like to try one of the pinkier shades for this time of year. This is more my summer colour, but I still love it and it's great for a natural blush. So I just put this on the high points of my cheeks and my nose. Some people hate nose blush. I've recently discovered online some people hate it, but I personally love it. It's one of my favourite makeup trends. And I do just dab this in with my finger because it gives the most natural result I've found with this blush. And again, if I need to, I will go over with a Beauty Blender. This is literally a lifesaver for me. Before going over with a powder bronzer, just to set that cream bronzer, and I'm using the Hourglass Ambient Lightening Bronzer. This is also a big repurchase for me. I got this last year, I think around January, and I just got it again for January. So it lasted me about a year. So I just literally go over everywhere where I put that bronzer stick with a big fluffy brush in the larger areas. I always take it down into my neck as well to make sure it looks blended. And then I do actually go over with a smaller brush to go over my nose. I just do it right in here, going down again. And then I also like to squish this a bit in between my fingers so it's a bit flat and go across the tip of my nose, just underneath and on top. I think it looks really cute. My favourite thing about this is using it to do a bit of a natural eyeshadow. So where I place the bronzing stick on my eyelid to lift the eye, I'm doing the same thing with the bronzer. I'm just putting it on my eyelid and then lifting it up. And I blend it upwards just by the end of my eyebrow. It's such a simple move, but it gives you such a lifted look. It almost gives that kind of toasted makeup vibe, which I do love. And going on to eyebrows, I'm using the Studio London brow brush just to literally brush my eyebrows up. And then I use the Kosas Brow Pop pencil to basically just draw a couple streaks into my eyebrows. I don't need to do much because my eyebrows are quite dark anyway, but just at the front section, I like to do a couple brow strokes just to give it a bit more shape at the front. And I do a teeny tiny bit at the top, just to give them a little bit more shape, but I don't really do too much there. I comb through again with the brow brush just to make sure the streaks aren't too harsh. It kind of blends out the brow pencil that we just put on. And I have recently been using the L'Oreal Brow Lamination. This is so good. Allegra actually put me on this and it is amazing. You can use this to like properly flatten your eyebrows and give it the lamination look. I don't really do that too much, so I just brush it through lightly and it still holds them perfectly in place. I sometimes find it so hard to find a good brow gel that actually holds my eyebrows because they can be a bit stubborn and they're quite thick, so they're quite hard to keep in place. But this one just does it amazingly. I let them get a little bit tacky, so I leave it for like 20-30 seconds. Once they've kind of partially set, I will then go and shape them. So that's how I do the eyebrows. Any curler and I curl my lashes. I really want to get a lash lift this week actually, because having my lashes curled just feels amazing. Okay, and for mascara, I love to use the Sweed Pro Lash Lift Mascara. I've got a lot of mascaras and this one is my favourite. I repurchased this one the other week because this just lifts your eyelashes so perfectly while still looking really natural, which is what I love. So I only really do one coat of this as well, and that's all you need. I always get it on my eyelid, don't worry, we're going to remove that in a minute. But how good does that look? I never see people rave about this mascara either. Like, I never heard of it until they sent it to me, like maybe a year or two, maybe like 2 years ago. More people need to know about it because it's amazing. I'm actually driving my sister to the airport on Thursday and we're going to Heathrow, which really isn't that bad. is like the best one to get to. I'm so sad they're going away for like a year or more, so I don't know when I'm going to see them next. I'm really hoping to go to Australia next year, maybe the end of this year / start of next year. I'm really hoping to go, so I'll see them then, but that is like a year away and I just can't even fathom not seeing them for a whole year. If I can, I would love to go earlier, so maybe I'll try. Also, a little trick I love is using a lash separator if your mascara ever clumps up in certain areas. Basically a comb for your eyelashes. Actually just brush it through and it separates any clumps, which really helps it look more natural. And to get rid of the mascara that has now transferred onto our eyelids, I literally just go in with the brow brush and I gently scrape it away. So I've got some here and I literally just scrape it away and it's gone. If you use your finger, it will probably just smudge and make it worse, so using a little comb is perfect. And then I just touch up the bronzer on my eyes, just in case it took any of that away. And for highlight, I've recently been using 2 different highlights. I use the Rare Beauty Liquid Luminizer and the Refy Liquid Highlighter. So I like to use this one on my nose. I honestly take off like the majority of the product and just put this across the tip of my nose and across the bridge, and then just blend that across with my fingers and I go up. And then I use a teeny tiny flat brush to take a tiny bit of the highlight and I put that in the inner corner of my eye. I just tap it in with my finger if I do too much. And I like to also put a tiny bit below my eyebrow, just there, and I dab that in. Perfect. And then I like to use the Refy Beauty Liquid Highlight on the high points of my cheeks. So I just put this on my fingers and I dab that in. And this is the best, most natural looking glowy highlight that I've tried. It is the best glow ever. So that is that. And then I will go in with a freckle pen. This is just one that you can get from Amazon or TikTok shop, and I get it in shade medium. And you just press it down and then it's got this little stamp and I just stamp this across my nose. It is quite annoying because if I blend it immediately, it will just rub off, but if I leave it too long, then it won't blend at all. So usually about now I will blend it, but I'm almost done. I just blend it in with my finger and it should look really cute. And for my lip combo, this is kind of changing a lot and I switch it up, but currently I have been using the Kylie Cosmetics lip liner. This is in Comes Naturally with the Rimmel Cappuccino lip liner. Or if I'm doing a super natural, like I'm not really wanting to wear makeup today, look, then I will do the Rhode lip shape in Twist. This is a great one. But I do find that this one doesn't last very well. I love all of the Rhode products, but this one I just find rubs off a bit too quickly for me. My lip liner to stay on as long as possible. But it's a shame because I really love this shade and I think it applies beautifully, but it just doesn't last that well for me. So I will super lightly overline. I try not to go too crazy on the overlining. Blend that into the center. Oh, I love that the sun is trying to come out. I am just living for summer right now. I'm so sick of winter. I cannot wait for summer. And then with the Cappuccino, it's a little bit darker and I just outline it. I don't blend it in at all. Just go over the very line of my lips. Just so it's kind of subtle. And then I like to use the Rhode Peptide Lip Tint in Ribbon. This is my favourite shade. It's a little pinky shade. And just applying the lip tint. And for powder, I like a more glowy look, so I don't use too much powder, but I have been switching recently between the translucent Saie loose powder and the YSL pressed powder. And obviously see I've used both a lot. Because I'm doing a more natural look today, I think I'm going to use the Saie one. I really need a new one of these. I'm literally having to like get out the last bits. And I put this on my chin, as well as a little bit on my forehead, just in the corner of my eyes, not too much, because I don't want to get rid of all the glow that I've just put on. But I also don't want to look oily, because there is a difference between looking so glowy that you look oily and sweaty and just looking like naturally glowy and radiant. So we want glowy and radiant. I also tend to get quite oily here in particular, so I like to powder that as well. I like to sometimes add a bit of the Rhode Glazing Mist in just to give a nice final glow to the look. And for setting spray, I like to use the Urban Decay All Nighter. It literally lasts all night. I like to use this, especially when I'm having a long day. Perfect. That is my natural glowy makeup look all done. This is what I do day to day. If you guys would like to see any other makeup looks or tutorials, do let me know and I will do them as soon as I can for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this makeup tutorial. Stay tuned and hit the subscribe button for next week's vlog. Love you guys so much and see you in the next vlog.